and welcome to another session on language and linguistics. In today's class, we shall discuss allomorphs. Now, before moving on to allomorphs, let me just tell you the difference between syllables and morphemes. Now, you have already studied what syllables are in your phonetics class. The number of syllables in a word depends on the number of prominent sounds in it, while the number of morphemes depends on the number of meaningful units in it. So, syllables is all to do with the sound and morphemes is to do with the meaningful unit. A morpheme may consist of one or more syllables, and a syllable may consist of one or more morphemes. For example, the single morpheme eat, if you look at this word eat, it is a single morpheme, right? But it is also a single syllable. Eat, 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 right? So it has only one syllable. Eats. Now let's take another word, the same word within the present form, simple present tense. Eats. Now eats is also a single syllable because you have the syllable, the sound, the prominent sound there is e, eats, e, right? So eats is also a single syllable, but is it a single morpheme? No, it is not a single morpheme because the word eats consists of two morphemes, eat and s, right? Now, if you are going to write the phonetic symbol or the phonetic script of it, you can divide it as eat and s. So you get two morphemes and two phonemes, right? But the syllable is single, e. Okay. Elephant is also a single morpheme. Now, if you look at the word elephant, it is a single morpheme. But now, if you look at the word elephant, elephant is a single morpheme. But what about the syllables? How many syllables are there in the word elephant? That's right, 3 syllables. Now, if you look at the word dehumanization, the word dehumanization has 4 morphemes. And what about the syllables? It has 6 syllables. So we can break up words into morphemes, into syllables and phonemes. Right? I hope you understood that. And now we move on to the main topic of the day, allomorphs. Now, what are allomorphs? See, we have seen how words are made up of morphemes, right? That is the structure of words in terms of morphemes. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to see, or we are going to look into this concept of morpheme itself, the structure of the morpheme. A morpheme can be defined as the unit of meaning in the grammatical system of a language. Okay. When we discussed morphemes in the earlier videos, I did tell you that it is very difficult to define morphemes, and we defined morphemes based on its characteristics or salient features, right? I also told you that when it comes to the plural form, the S form, the S morpheme has variations in sound when it comes to phonemics, morphophonemics, or as I told you, when it comes to phonemes, it has different sounds. The same S in morpheme, it is just a single morpheme, but that single morpheme has variance. Okay, that single morpheme has different sounds produced differently in different environment. For example, if you look at the word bags, okay, the word bags or as of girls or boys has the z sound, z. So the morpheme S has a variation in its sound when it is in the plural form, but it is different in the plural again when it comes to another word, pets. Pets is the s is pronounced, or the phoneme is s and not z. Okay, it is not z as of the voiced sound. It is a voiceless sound. Pets, it's voiceless. Whereas when you look at bags, girls, legs, all these, the z sound, it is voiced. Okay, and when you come to the next one, another plural form, glasses, glasses. Okay, the es, the phoneme es is pronounced, or the phoneme, the morpheme es is pronounced z, glasses, glasses. So see the variation in the s and es, the morpheme s and es. It's different in different cases, in different plural forms itself. Now the reason as to why it is plural, it changes, or the variation happens, we shall be discussing that in detail as we move on, but I hope you understood that there is a variation in the same, that the s and the es sound, the morpheme s has different variants, okay, in the plural form. Now this variation is referred to as allomorphs in a very simple manner. Now let me continue explaining it to you a little more. Now if you look at the word sing, now the ing form, let's take the word ing forms of the present continuous tense. Now, and let's take the word sing. The word sing. Sing is a single morpheme, but singing is not a single morpheme. It consists of two units of meaning. Sing as in the semantic level, and ing as in the grammatical level. You know that, I don't have to tell you all that. We have already studied. So sing is in the semantic level has meaning, and ing in the grammatical level has its meaning. So it consists of two morphemes, right? Which that ing sound, the ing, indicates the grammatical function. That is, it indicates that the action is in progress, the continuation, the continuous tense. Okay? All right. So that ing is not allomorph. It doesn't have any variations, because ing, cry, crying, sing, singing, come, coming, drink, drinking, sleep, sleeping, study, studying, everything is ending with the same ing sound, ing, right? That ing does not have the last ing, the morpheme, the grammatical morpheme, it doesn't have any variation. It's the same. But as we discussed earlier, so it's not an allomorph. Okay, so when we the things that we discussed earlier changes. So morphemes, some morphemes have only single form in all contexts. like the ing form. It is the same for singing, going, crying, laughing, etc. But some morphemes are realized in variant forms. That is what I gave you the example in the beginning itself. The plural form realized as S and ES in spelling has 3 different phonetic realization. S, Z, and Is. Pet, pets. Leg, legs. Glass, glasses. See, the same, this morpheme is changing at different places or at different contexts. It has different phonetic realization depending on the spelling, depending on the context, the environment, etc. Now, the context, environment, what I mean by that is the spelling and the tense and so on. So here the ing form has only one single form, all right? It doesn't have any change at all. But when you have a change, when there is a variation, that is what we describe as allomorphs. Okay, so if you look at the word pets, it is, and the if you look at the word legs, the S morpheme is pronounced as Z, the voiced vowel, voiced consonant. And if you look at glasses, it is pronounced glasses, glasses, right? So it is differing, it is changing, it is varying with different plurals or different words when it is changed into the plural. These are called allomorphs of the plural morpheme. So an allomorph may be defined as a variant, concrete realization of a morpheme which occurs in certain definable environment. So when a morpheme is thus represented, sometimes by a phonetic shape as of S and sometimes by another shape. I'm just giving you an examples, and Z and Is, all these are examples. So when a morpheme is thus represented, sometimes by one phonetic shape and sometimes by another or another, each of these representations is a morph. The Z and the is a morph. And all morphs which represent a particular morpheme are called the allomorphs of the morpheme. So Z, the Z sound, is sound of the same morpheme S or ES, and it varies. That is called a morph. And all morphs that represent this particular or a particular morpheme. Now here in this case it is S and ES, the plural form S and ES. The S and Is sound is representing S and ES, different variants of this morpheme S and ES. These morphs that represent these morphemes or this particular morpheme are called the allomorphs. Okay, are called the allomorphs of that morpheme. All right. And so this is, S, Z and Is are 3 allomorphs of a single morpheme, the plural morpheme S and ES. Okay, so I hope you understood up to now. Now this is a tricky one. If in case you have any doubts, please feel free to ask me. Don't bother about the question answer session. I would like you to just approach and ask Okay, and I shall clarify it for you. All right. Now, why, as I said, we did say that it varies in certain definable environment. Now, what is this? What does it mean by that? Why do they change then? Why do they vary? Let's see. That is a little to do with the phonetics section. That is, if you look at the first word, the sound, as of steps, as of sets, as of stars, the sound, why does it occur? Now, this occurs, the sound occurs if the preceding sound is a voiceless consonant. Okay, for example, steps. Steps. The preceding sound p is voiceless. Steps. Steps. Okay, sets. 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 So t is voiceless here. The preceding sound t is voiceless. That is the reason as to why you have the s sound. Now, if you look at z sound, why does it happen? The z sound is because the plural form, like boys, bees, legs, it is because the preceding sound is a voiced one. Either it could be a vowel or a voiced consonant. Bees, the bees, bees, the vowel, it is preceded by the voiced vowel e, bees, bees. Right? And the next one is legs, legs. So it is preceded by the voiced consonant g, g. And that is the reason as to why it changes. Okay? And the next one is sound. Why do we have the is sound as of in glasses? Okay? So glasses, vases. It's not vases. You can also pronounce it as vases, but the correct pronounce is vases, vases, vase, vases. Right? The glasses. It's preceded by the s sound. Vases, s sound. It is preceded by the z sound. Vases, z. So these are the reasons. It's a lot to do with the phonetic reason, whether it is a voiced consonant or whether it is a voiceless consonant. So if you want to get this sound, the preceding sound should be a voiceless consonant. And if you want to get the sound as a z sound, the preceding one should be a voiced one, either a vowel or a voiced consonant. And if you want it as z sound, it should be preceded by the sounds like z, s, z, and t. Another thing, certain words do not have the plural form at all. Like, for example, sheep, deer. Do we say sheeps? Do we say deers? No. It's incorrect. We don't have such a word at all. It's the same for singular and plural. Sheep, sheepul. Deer, deerul. So there we call this, since it doesn't have any separate phonetic realization, we call it zero allomorph. There is no allomorphs to present it. We don't have sheeps. We don't have deers. The is not there. See, because it is the same for singular and plural. So there is no allomorph to represent. There is no phonetic realization of it, and hence it is called zero allomorph. Okay. Another example of allomorphic variation in English is the past tense morpheme, represented in the spelling mostly by d and id. So if it is id, the past tense of id, if it is in this, if you need to get the sound id, it is when it is preceding, the preceding sound is t or d. For example, petted, waited, petted, waited. All right. and if the sound is d, not id but d, that is when it is preceded by a voiced sound other than d itself. For example, beg, begged. Okay, dream, dreamed. D. Okay, begged, dreamed. Okay, and you get the sound t when it is preceded by the voiceless sound. Of course, other than t, the sound, the preceding sound should not be t. Other than that, if in order to get the sound t, that is the words when preceded by the voiceless sound, like for example, kick, kick. It is a voiceless sound, right? When it is preceded by a voiceless sound, so it will be kicked. Laugh, laughed. Okay. So these are what we call allomorphs. Again, there are some verbs which do not have any change. It's the same. They don't change at all. Like cut is cut, 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 put, 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 shut, shut, shut. So it's zero allomorph. Okay. So I hope I've made myself clear. The term morph literally means shape. Any minimal phonetic form that has a meaning is a morph, and those morphs which belong to the same morpheme are the allomorphs of that morpheme. For example, the it, the t, and the s and the z and the is. All these of the plural form and the past tense, all these are morphs, and since all these are morphs of representing a single morpheme, they are called the allomorphs of that morpheme. So what is morph? Morph literally means a shape. Any minimal phonetic form that has a meaning is a morph. And those morphs which belong to the same morpheme are called allomorphs of that morpheme. Okay, so thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next class. Bye.